Hello, folks. We've just had the weekly close. Is this going to be good for crypto, Bitcoin, and the stock market? Because this was a big close. Everyone was wondering if we're going to have a panic Monday sell off again or not. And also, Trump got the debt ceiling lifted. So he got the government shutdown avoided. This is massive. This is massive because the US only has two policies, which is the fiscal policy and the monetary policy. Monetary policy is the Federal Reserve and what they do, and they're not cutting rates at all. My last three videos showed you guys they're definitely not budging at all. But what's the fiscal policy doing? What is Trump doing with the debt ceiling limit? Now he can borrow more money. Is that good? Is that good in theory for the US markets or not? All right, it's going to be a mega action-packed episode today because we're going to show you where Bitcoin and crypto is moving because of what's happening to the stock market. As we've seen the last 2 or 3 weeks, Bitcoin's basically just reacting to the dump and the danger warning signals coming out of the stock market. And with this Trump passing this massive, fiscal debt limit ceiling to avoid government shutdown for the next 6 months, will this be good for the markets? We're going to look at the charts and give you historical proof on if this was good for the markets or not. Right? I don't know anyone else who's doing this, but we're going to look at the charts on when this happened last time. Was this good for the markets, for Bitcoin, crypto, and stocks or not? Before we do that, let's answer the question for 30 seconds of which crypto exchange does Pablo use? Well, Pablo uses an exchange that is basically non-KYC, which means you don't need to show your ID. That means even the exchange can't see who you are. Of course, then Americans can use it. That means the IRS can't see you. The tax office can't see you. The FBI, CIA, nobody can see you. And in fact, I like them so much, I made this deal with them. There's over $8,000 worth of newbie prizes just for joining and trading. Already over 1.3 million global users. This is the largest non-KYC crypto exchange in the world. If you're watching this video on YouTube, then the link is in the description below. The link is in the description below. If you're watching it on other platforms such as this one, then just go to my profile page, and we can see the stand link right there, and it's the first thing that comes up, right? But keep in mind, this great deal, see the Bitunix deal, right? The first thing that comes up. But keep in mind, this deal is basically only on the Pablo link, only on the link Pablo is providing. Okay, let's go back to Bitcoin. So right now, we can see what's happening with Bitcoin is that it is still, I keep on telling my Discord, the key is still this area. Can you see what that is, right? You can see the blue line and the red line crossing there, right? So that's basically about 92K, 91.7, 98K area. And what does that mean? It means one, you have this massive neckline here. The neckline of the head, shoulder. If Bitcoin breaks below, then target is 73K. So far, we came close. We got to 76K here. And second, see the blue line here. This was the trend line, right? The pressure all this time. Bitcoin has not been able to break it. If Bitcoin is able to rally and bounce up this weekend or early next week and boom, goes through, then would break the blue line and the red line at the same time. And if it can close above for at least a day or two, see here, it only closed up for 1 day. If it can close for 1-2 days and confirm, right, then I think a bull move is very much happening. That would be the signal. If not, I'm looking for a pullback to something like 73K area, right? I think Bitcoin's going to have a couple of more dips into the 70s and build a bottom here and then go up. Now, that's not news to anybody, but let's have a look at what Trump has done. Oh, before we do that, let's have a revisit of how the SP 500 and how the NASDAQ is affecting crypto prices. I've shown you guys over and over again. This is just to repeat to the people who are new to this, to my videos, that of course, if you just graph, Bitcoin and price and the stock prices of the last 7 or 8 years together, you find they bottom together and they top together, and obviously, the U.S. stock market is like about 30 times larger than crypto. So it's pretty easy to figure out which one is leading which one's more important. Okay, so basically, Bitcoin is tanking and in a bit of trouble in the last 3 weeks. But look at the SPY, right? The SP 500. It's doing this bounce here, Let me just move it to natural chart. Doing this bounce, as I called it, 550, right? I said 550 is a crucial level, this 550 level. Why is that 550? If you can look at my chart, you can probably, just for 2 seconds, you can tell me yourself. We have this massive green channel here. And basically SP 500 bounced off this level once, twice, 3, 4 times now, right? 4 times. So 550 is the important level. But however, it never got above 565. See this crucial level. Never got above 565 for the weekly close. So it's still kind of weak. We're still underneath, so we can still get rejected at this 565 resistance level. Let me just show you guys what that looks like on a weekly chart. So on weekly chart, what would you call that? Would you call that a bottoming tail? Well, bottoming tail should have this tail as long as possible and this body, the red here, the body, as small as possible, something like this. So I would accept it at 565. This is like 563. This is a little bit short, right? To call it a bottoming tail. So I would say SP 500 is still in danger. If we get a couple of more closes next week above like 565, I would be feeling a little bit more comfortable. If not, as it stands, I'm still worried about a breakdown to retest this 550 area. Same thing for the NASDAQ, right? This is the NASDAQ composite index, and look at this. So this is kind of a bottoming tail with a long tail here, long tail, and a small body. I would like this body to be as small as possible and closed here. Technically it could work, but that's for only one single signal. What we need is confirmation. What's another signal we can look for? Well, here was a big level, this 17.9, 18.0K level, 18.0K level. We didn't close above there. What if we do, by next Wednesday, we do this big bottoming tail and we close above 18.0? We close above 18.0, then that would give me, faith that we at least can move to 18.5K. And then if we break that and confirm above it, and then all-time high is inside again, 20K. So far, closing, as I've just shown you guys, SP 500, right? The most important US stock index has closed below 565. The Spider ETF closed below 565. The key level closed below. So it's not a really strong sign just yet. And NASDAQ Composite closed below 18.0K. That's not a fully strong sign yet, even though we are getting signs of some kind of bottoming tail. So this is one of those times where I would say, look, it's kind of good we're getting these bottoming tails, but none of them are closing above key resistance. So it's kind of like half good news, half bad news. So we're just going to have to wait for the market, like I said, to prove itself next week, to close above 565 twice, right? Do 2 daily closes above 565 for the SP 500 ETF, Spider ETF, SPY. For NASDAQ to close above 18,000, right? 2 days in a row to prove itself. Now, let's have a look at what Trump is doing. Trump basically closed created this ETF. This debt ceiling. He lifted the debt ceiling and he avoided a U.S. government shutdown. Quickly, this is the Federal Reserve, St. Louis's Fed, their own website, and it's showing you how much money there is in the U.S. government Uncle Sam's bank account. Uncle Sam's bank account is called the Treasury General Account. Treasury General Account, right? It's the United States Treasury, which is run by Scott Bessent right now, nominated by Donald Trump himself. And as I said before, I made a video about this a few weeks ago because it was so important. When money comes in, is Uncle Sam or U.S. government is collecting money from taxpayers. When it goes out, is U.S. government is spending money. When it collects money and spends money, collects money, and it's about to spend money. But what do you think happens now when Trump actually lifts the debt ceiling? Do you think this number is going to go down? The answer is no. What happened in each of these previous cases when this blue line went down, and that was very good, very positive for Bitcoin and stocks, is that when these blue lines went down, is that the US government debt ceiling has been hit. It can no longer collect more money. It can no longer borrow more money, right? Can no longer borrow more money and can only spend money. So therefore, the US government's bank account went down. US government's bank account went down. And that was actually very good for the markets. Why is that? Well, because it's like this. When the US government, as I've explained this, guys, before, but you may not have seen my video from 4 or 5 weeks ago. When the US government is borrowing money, how do they borrow it? They can only borrow money by selling bonds. Selling bonds basically means they issue pieces of paper, right? Pieces of paper into the economy. Here's a piece of paper. It means nothing. It's just a piece of paper. It says US government bonds on it. Here's a piece of paper, and you gave me $100 billion, $1 trillion, whatever the amount is, right? So that's sucking money out of the US banking system. Money and liquidity is literally going out from the US banking system into US government's account. The Federal Reserve also does this. It's they call that QT, and we all know quantitative tightening, or QT, is bad. That's when the banking sector, the banking system's money, liquidity is being sucked into the Federal Reserve. Well, when the debt ceiling is not lifted, so that means the government cannot borrow anymore and cannot issue any more bonds, then therefore they cannot sell any more bonds and they cannot suck any more US banking system's liquidity into the government account, right? But however, they need to spend the money. We saw the blue lines going down. They need to spend more money, so more money goes back to the economy. So of course, these situations are great for the economy, like we saw here. Like whenever this blue line was falling, it was great for the economy. And what just happened right now, they lifted the debt ceiling and Trump can borrow again. So we're probably not going to see this line fall down to zero, because that's dangerous to the US government. And so therefore, this is not this is not the great scenario we were looking for. So hang on, let me just show you guys what this looks like. I'll graph this again. The blue line we just saw is the blue line, right? I'll graph it again right here. That's the blue line, like we just saw. And then let's see how it impacts the stock market, right? We've seen this last time. When it is falling, the stock market is going up. When it is falling, stock market bottom from the 2022 bear market and then goes up, right? When it goes down again, it would be great for the stock market. Okay, let's have a look at Bitcoin. When it is falling, Bitcoin, right, makes a new all-time high 64K in 2021 and then makes a new all-time high 69K. When this blue line is falling, Bitcoin stops and bottoms at 15K and starts running up, right? Starts the new bull market. So now, once again, if this thing starts falling, then that would be great for Bitcoin to turn around and start pumping again. We can now, I'll put both the SP 500 and Bitcoin on this chart compared to the blue line, which is what we just saw, the US Treasury general account. And so far, it's not a great situation. It's not great. Why is this not great? Because like I just explained, the US is not just spending, not borrowing any money and just spending money. Because think about it, if you're not borrowing any money, then you're not taking any money out of the banking system. And if you're only spending money, then Uncle Sam's spending all he has into the economy. You're not taking anything out, you're putting more back in. So that pumps the US liquidity system, that pumps the US markets. Right now, it's being allowed to borrow until, I think, September 30th, another 6 months. So it's going to take more money out and spend some money. So it kind of cancels each other out. It was not the bullish situation I was looking for. Doesn't necessarily mean this is bearish, but it's not the bullish situation I was looking for. Okay, folks, for all the Aussies out there watching, Pablo uses SwiftX, and the link for the Pablo deal is in the description below. Okay, thank you for your time, guys. I'll catch you next episode.